Hello and welcome to another Cliff Reviews Art House. This time I'm reviewing the film Eraserhead, directed by David Lynch. Eraserhead is a unique film. I think I'd go as far as saying that there's nothing else quite like it. It doesn't really fit into any conventional category or tradition. Eraserhead was a statement that we were going to see something new in cinema. Watching it is not like a normal cinematic experience. There's not really any story unfolding. It's more like being slowly submerged into a personal, claustrophobic world of dread. In this way, it's perhaps less like a movie and more like a psychological event. Eraserhead feels almost entirely non-narrative, and this contrasts with Lynch's later work, I think. What we see in Eraserhead is definitely in Lynch's best work, like Lost Highway, Mulholland Drive, Inland Empire. All of these films have that Lynch uniqueness, the surrealism, the nightmare, the absurdity. But these other films still offer something of an emotional and narrative arc. In Eraserhead, there is no clear plot, no move towards resolution. Our main character, Henry, doesn't undergo a journey in any conventional sense. He exists, trapped in this decaying industrial wasteland, burdened with this strange alien child. The film feels closer to an avant-garde artwork than to narrative cinema. Its sound design, the industrial hisses, the low-frequency hums, the grinding machinery. This is as much a storytelling device as its imagery. Dialogue is minimal and stilted. Meaning emerges not through the plot, but through mood, through texture, through psychological weight. There are also moments of what could only be called slapstick horror. The scene where Henry cuts into a tiny twitching chicken at dinner, its legs kicking, its fluid spurting. It's grotesque and absurd. These flashes of surreal comedy puncture the gloom, but they don't really offer any relief. If anything, they make the horror worse, introducing a kind of mechanical randomness to the universe that Lynch has built. Life isn't tragic or noble. It's malfunctioning, it's awkward, it's degraded. It's also impossible to ignore the strong autobiographical dimension to this film. Henry, with his exaggerated vertical hair and his anxious passivity, he resembles a distorted, kind of nightmarish version of Lynch himself. Lynch has said that Eraserhead was made during a period of great personal anxiety, particularly surrounding fatherhood and adulthood. It shows. The film is less a constructed story than a direct channeling of psychic unease, and an emotional painting rather than a novel. The opening and closing scenes set in a kind of cosmic space where a strange man in the planet pulls levers as Henry's nightmare begins. This provides an intriguing context. These sequences suggest a cold, indifferent machinery behind existence itself. Human suffering perhaps isn't part of some grand design, it's merely the byproduct of an uncaring universe. The cosmic setting is stripped of any grandeur, it's mechanical, broken, absurd. Perhaps the one bit of comfort in the film is the lady in the radiator, smiling, she's kind looking, in a miniature staged world, but even this comfort is ambiguous. Is she offering escape? Death? The ending, with Henry embracing her in a white void, it can be read in many ways, I think. Transcendence, annihilation, or simply the collapse of Henry's mind, or all of these things. I don't think there's a single interpretation of this film. It's just about coherent enough that it feels like it means something, but what that is can't really be comprehended. If I was to criticise Eraserhead, I think we could question whether it's self-indulgent. Lynch plunges the viewer into his personal terror without translating it into any kind of relatable terms. Perhaps this is his personal therapy and we're not supposed to understand it beyond the broadest terms, the mood of it. That said, I do think there is an undeniable power in its refusal to explain itself. Eraserhead trusts that the dread, the confusion, the alienation, that these are communicated directly viscerally without the mediation of language or plot. And in this, it succeeds completely. It creates a mood that's impossible to shake, a vision of life reduced to its most primal anxieties: flesh, reproduction, responsibility, decay. I think it's best to see Eraserhead not as the finished Lynch product, but as part of a process, Lynch experimenting, discovering his cinematic language. Above all, I think Lynch is an artist, and Eraserhead is him learning how to translate his artistic vision into moving image. I do think it lacks the emotional layering and psychological complexity of his later work, but it does lay a really strong foundation. If you want to understand where Lynch is coming from, at least in one aspect of his filmmaking, this is essential viewing. In the end, Eraserhead is less a story than a state of being. It's a film to be endured, experienced, not really understood. A compelling, horrifying nightmare. Some people will hate it, but for me, it's an extraordinary work of art. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.